Good evening, people. The time is 9:35 p.m. and I just came back from my first church service since I was a kid. I think the last time I went to church service was in elementary, maybe middle school, maybe, but I'm really leaning towards elementary. I don't think we went in middle school. Growing up, I always knew of Jesus. I always knew who he was. I was always familiar with church. I went as a kid. Like, I was in church for a little bit. But as I got older, I think like most people, we drift away from God and his glory because we don't go to church. We don't read the book. We become more earthly. And that's what happened to me. I stopped going to church, stopped reading my Bible. Granted, I didn't really read it as a kid, but I stopped going to church. I started becoming more of the world until about, I'm going to say last year around this time. There was an event in my life that occurred, and I was like, you know what? It's time I make a serious effort to devote my life towards Jesus. So since last year, I've been reading my Bible more, praying more, and making a real conscious effort to incorporate Jesus into my life. And honestly, ever since I made that decision, life has been good. Sure, life has its problems. I'm not saying life for me became perfect, but it has been way better than the past 21 years of my life. I feel comfortable in my skin. I feel at peace. I feel like I have a purpose. Although I don't know what that purpose is, I still feel like I have a purpose that I need to find out what it is. So all that is just to catch you guys up a little bit, And I've been going to small groups for about maybe a month now. And my small group leader, he convinced me to go to church service. Now in the past, he was like, Vaughn, you go to church service. Like, try it, man. Try it. And I was like, yeah, like, that's something about me. I'll say, yeah, I'll try it. And then knowing I'm not going to try it. And this week, this was a few days ago, like 2-3 days ago, he asked me out for dinner. He was like, hey, you want to grab some dinner before a Bible study? And I was like, sure, let's go. And so he picked me up and, we had a real talk, one-on-one talk. And in that conversation, he convinced me to try it, like to actually try it. And I was like, you know what? You have my word. I'll try it. Now I'm being honest. I didn't want to go, but I take my word very seriously. And when the moment I told him I give you my word, I was like, dang it. Now I have no choice but to go. So fast forward to today, about an hour ago. And I get there and already I'm caught very off guard. There is so many people, probably like 100 people outside in a hallway. This is on campus, by the way. This is on my campus, UTSA. And we're in one of the buildings, and I just see a whole bunch of people in the hallway. I'm like, dang, like that's a big old class. I go to the restroom. I come back, and they're still there. And I'm like, is this a church service? And I'm looking around, and I'm starting to see familiar faces I've seen on campus. And I'm like, maybe it is. And then I see my church leader. I'm like, oh, snap, it is. And by that, I was a little bit rattled because I was like, whoa, this is a little bit bigger than I thought. And so like everybody's talking, congregating. I see my Bible study leader. I talk to him. He introduces me to some more people. Other people who I've seen around come up to me, start talking to me. So like I'm already in the deep ends. Like everybody's talking to me and I'm just like, now me, I just wanted to go into this church service kind of like low key by myself in like the back of the church and just like, just be a bystander. But nah, I'm in the thick of it now. I'm talking to everybody. Everybody's talking to me. And then my group leader, he was like, hey, like, just save me a seat. I sit at the third row, closest up front, but the third row. So I'm like front and center. Like I'm there. The stage is there. I'm here. And I was like, yeah, like I for sure got that for you. And they start walking us in, but like the energy. So me, for the most part, like in life, I'm a very like mellow, calm dude. I can get very like energetic at times, but overall my personality is just very mellow, very, very, very cool. And they're just like, "Rah, are you guys ready? Wow, church service, whoa!" Like screaming, proud, ready to praise Jesus. And I'm just like, one, it's a lot of people. Two, everybody's like yelling, screaming. I'm already like, oh, okay, like I'm already over my head. And so I go in, they're like clapping, cheering me on. Yeah, let's go, woo! Like the energy is like that. Like I'm in a stadium or something. I'm like, okay. I go, I sit down, and I just take a moment to soak it all in. I'm like, wow, I'm actually here after all these years. I'm in a church service. Now, granted, it's not in an actual church, but I mean, God says, and I'm paraphrasing, but one or more of me are like I just said this in the last video, one or more of a Christian, there I am. I'm paraphrasing like crazy, so I'm just digress. So I'm just taking a moment to take it all in, and I pray. I'm like, God, I'm finally here. I'm a bit nervous, but I pray that I take something positive away from this. And I finished praying, and I'm sitting there, everybody's still around me talking and stuff. And a dude comes up to me, introduces himself, like who are you here with? And I tell him like, oh, I'm here with my group leader, and some other people. He's like, oh, okay, my name is blah blah blah. It's nice to meet you. I'm like, yeah, it's nice to meet you. And then the church service started, and it was a boy and a girl, and the boy was like, whoa, welcome to church service, yeah. Like everybody is just like, yeah. And I'm just like, what is going on? I'm not used to this. Even whenever I did go to church as a kid, service was nothing like this. Like service was still like yeah, there was praising, worship, and everybody's clapping, having a good time, but like the energy, it felt like I was at a concert. It just felt very like, are you ready to worship? Wow. And so they're there with their energy. I'm like, okay, like I'm kind of like, this might be my only time coming. It's a little bit too energetic for me. And then they're like, all right, everybody stand up. We're gonna worship, and we're gonna like basically get in our mood. And me, I'll sing to myself, but one of my pet peeves is hearing people who aren't professional singers sing. And I was like, okay. And I told this to my group leader. I was like, one thing about service is like, I just don't like the singing. I think it's kind of like corny. I'm not gonna lie. Like in a most respectful way possible. I just think it's a bit cheesy. And so we're standing up, and they're singing these songs. And at first I was like, man, I can't believe I'm doing this right now. And I was like, you know what? Let me just keep an open heart, and let's just try it. So, I'm closing my eyes. I'm swaying to the music, just, trying to empty my head and just trying to feel God's presence. And one song goes by, 2 songs go by. And then by the 3rd song, I was actually like feeling good. And I was like, oh, okay, so this is why people worship. Like, this is why people sing songs to God. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the music was good. The singing was good. Because like the whole room, everybody was singing along. The I forget what they called them. The praise group, I forget. But they were singing. Everybody knew the song. Everybody knew the lyrics. It was like synchronized, harmonized. There was like people with higher pitched voices, people with lower pitched voices. It was actually very pleasing to listen to. And I was like, wow. I understand why people worship. Like, it's just to show your allegiance to God and show that you love him. And one way by showing that is by singing to him. And that's something I finally understood because I witnessed it firsthand. I witnessed everybody like singing their heart out, showing how much they love God by singing. And it was nice. It was nice music. I'm not gonna lie. I liked the music. So then after They sang their songs. We prayed again, and then we sat down for service. And we went over Psalms 95, which was basically about worshiping God and why we worship God. And so we went over that a little bit. The pastor was good. He made some good analogies, made some jokes. That part of the church service, like I don't know what that would be called, but when you're actually reading the Bible, it was good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then after that, one of the questions they had asked was, what do you worship in life? That was the overall theme of Psalms 95. What do you worship in life? Is it God? Is it money? Is it men? Is it women? Is it material things? Is it materialism? Is it God? Because us as humans, we naturally worship something. If we're not worshiping God, we're worshiping something else. And so that was the overall theme of it. And I was sitting to myself thinking about it too. And then after we read the Bible, we worshiped one more time just to wrap up the church service. So they got together. I think they sang 2 songs. I can't remember. And again, I'm closing my eyes. I'm swaying to the music, and it's very pleasing to my ears. People's singing, and I'm just like, wow, I'm actually very grateful I did this. I went in there with the mindset like, maybe just a one and done type thing. I'll go to Bible study, but service, it just might not be my cup of tea. But by the end of it, I was like, I'm going to go to the next one. Because here's the analogy I will use. It's like watching a football game in your living room versus being in the stadium, witnessing the football game. It's a completely different experience. Being in my small groups, reading the Bible in my own time, that's one thing, right? It is more intimate. But then there's this other aspect where you're in a room with a group of people praising the same God. Like when you're in a room of a group of people who's there for the exact same reason you are, who's trying to pursue the same thing you're pursuing. And these people are far more devout than me, far more, I won't say righteous, but like they're far more in their journey than I am. And it was a good environment to be in. And yeah, at the end of it, I was happy. I was like, wow, that was a really good experience. And I'm very glad I experienced that. And I thank God that I put my pride to the side and I went to that service. As soon as I got out, I was like, I got to make a video about it. So here we are. Here I am making a video about my experience at the church service. That's it, guys. Obviously, I'll address the elephant in the room. Your boy got some new frames. They just came in today. I had my other glasses. I don't know if you guys could tell, but they were bent. Like, I don't know how. They were like, I guess it was like that kind of. But, yeah, I really like those glasses. Those glasses were nice. I still have them. But yeah, got some new frames. But, yeah, I just have to make a video about my experience going to church for the first time in forever. Toodles.